Jonathan, I'm actually really proud of ourselves, like for not smacking each other, through this episode. I think we kept it very profesh.
We did. I didn't reach through. I didn't throw a pen at you.
Well, don't do it now, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you call me ma'am earlier?
I did call you ma'am earlier.
Oh, gosh.
No, I think I said young lady.
Oh, my gosh. You said young lady.
It's Coffee Social, the podcast all about social media and business. And now, here are your hosts, Jonathan Howard and Mimi Langley.
Hey, everyone. Hi, Jonathan Howard.
Hello, Mimi Langley.
We're so dramatic, and I love it. I'm here for it.
Always here for it. Ready to go.
You know, Jonathan, real quick. Well, first of all, let's just tell people, what are we drinking? What coffee are you drinking today?
I'm drinking my Khalifa cold brew.
Ooh, I like that. I am drinking my Tim Hortons for our Canadian viewers. Cheers to everybody out there. Let us know what you're drinking in the comment section. You guys, I have been thinking about this episode, and I'm sure Jonathan has too, like for a bit now, because it's been on our preparation list for a while, and I love talking about confidence and boosting your own confidence. And this is real, being confident, feeling like the best when you're on camera. I mean, it's scary to be on camera, right, Jonathan? So this is going to be like a real conversation that we're having. We talked about it beforehand, and we had some opinions.
We'll say they were opinions. Yes, we had opinions on the topic. And I think that's important because, you have to accept every opinion in order to learn. You have to understand where people are coming from so that you can teach them. So I think that's important that we had differing opinions. If we agreed on everything, it'd be boring. As all get out.
Well, it's true though. Like maybe what works for me to make myself feel confident may not work at all for you. So it's nice to listen to other people's viewpoints and what works for them and try it out for yourself, right? And see if it's a game changer.
Exactly, but I'm right.
Let us know who's right in the comments. Team Mimi. Come on, Team Mimiers.
It's always Team Jonathan. No doubt about it.
Jonathan, real quick. So let's introduce ourselves because you always yell at me. He always yells, hey, we have to introduce ourselves. That's my voice for Jonathan. We have to. Okay. Do you want to go first?
Sure. My name is Jonathan Howard. I'm the owner of Success on Social, and I help successful female coaches show up as themselves on short form video so they can reach their tribe and make some money. Gosh,
well, this topic is right up your alley because
yeah, a little bit.
You're on video all the time, and that's what you teach about, So for me, hey everyone, I'm Mimi Langley, and I teach women in business how to host rooms on social audio, like LinkedIn audio, like Clubhouse, where you don't have to be on camera. So there we go. Take that, Jonathan. Okay. Before we dive in, because we have a few tips to give people, when it comes to showing up as, your best on camera. Because when you feel good, when you have that confidence in how you're looking, what you're saying, it's going to translate. Like people are going to hear that confidence. So Jonathan, before we dive into the tips, I know you had something that you wanted to mention about mindset.
Yeah, and this is a whole other conversation. So this is one of those things that we'll probably dive into in another episode, but you're going to be battling some pretty significant mindset obstacles when you're going through this, when you're trying to feel comfortable. And the only way to get through them is by teaching your brain that it's okay, that you're safe, that you're not going to get hurt or left behind, anything like that. So we'll talk about that in another episode, but I wanted to make sure that you guys knew those are things that you're going to be battling while you're doing this. But one of the best ways to battle it is our first tip. So I'll throw it back to Mimi for our first tip.
So true. The first tip that we have on our list is practice, practice, practice. Right, Jonathan?
Practice and practice some more and some more and some more and some more. Absolutely.
I mean, honestly, though, think about this, you guys. We're not telling you just get on camera and press record. Like a lot of us practice beforehand, whether you're doing a Clubhouse room, whether you're going to be doing a live webinar or going on Instagram Live. I mean, chances are you've practiced your opening, you've practiced your closing, you've practiced maybe your bullet points of what you want to say. So, I mean, I know for sure. And I know a lot of the times we can say a lot of what we know in our sleep, but practicing, Jonathan, it's transformed the way I show up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The practice is the action that's going to build the confidence, that's going to build the muscles that you need in order to continue doing it. The practice, and we practice even every time we do a webinar. We're practicing in that actual webinar for the next webinar. So just keep taking those steps. I know we've talked about taking that action, starting where you are, but it's so important that the practice is where you're going to see the success.
You know, I love that you mentioned, like, you're literally practicing when you're doing the thing live. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're practicing, right? You're going to get better and better. Chances are you're going to get better and better and better the more you do it. For me, like with practicing, it is when I'm actually live doing something, whether it's a boot camp I'm putting together or, you know, a live Zoom training. But I also like to practice like before I even go live. Like I'm talking driving in my car, turn down the radio, turn off the radio, and saying what I want to say. Like, okay, how am I going to make this point? Or how am I going to close my webinar? You know what I'm saying? Like those moments, or in the shower, right? Before you actually go live, Jonathan.
Yeah. And I mean, I tell people, and I do this all the time, because I teach that you get 3 takes on your reels. So you have those 3 options. That's it. So I tell people all the time, rehearse what you're going to say in your head. Say it out loud. If you come up with an idea, write it down, however you're going to remember it, but script something out before and then say it, and then feel comfortable saying it. Because if you don't feel comfortable, your audience is going to see that you're not comfortable. And that's always a little bit awkward.
Well, you know what's so crazy? It's like when someone is not confident in what they're saying, because maybe you are confident in what you're saying, but it's not translating because you just don't feel good on camera, right? They might be second guessing your expertise. Like that may be how serious a listener can take it. So that's why we're trying to give these tips today so that you do come through as the expert that you are.
Right.
There's something that you say all the time, Jonathan, that I love when you're teaching about Instagram Reels and showing up on short form video. And that is you like to practice in the mirror.
Yeah. I practice in the mirror when I'm telling people to understand how they should be showing up, how to introduce themselves, because we feel like we look different on camera. And that's because the video is flipped. It's that easy. We're used to the symmetry of our face, the way we see it. So we're seeing it backwards. So it's weird. So practice in the mirror. Practice in the mirror and see how you look, see how what your facial expressions will do. Maybe if you don't like when you say a word, you can adjust how you say it, different things like that. But practice in the mirror. That's where you should start.
I love that. I love that a lot. Practice in the mirror and say it out loud. Like, don't just keep it up here. Like, there's a lot of power in just keep on using that speaking muscle, because that's going to help you show up confidently. I love it, Jonathan. So practice, practice, practice. Now let's just dive into
this. No, we
this.
have a second tip before we dive in. We want to keep them waiting on our argument.
Okay.
Fine. Well, and this one, but this one's weird anyway.
Well, this is one that you added to the list.
Well, I think it's really important.
But I like that you said this. Okay, so let me set you up because this is your tip, and I actually really do love it. You put it as make your phone your best friend. Like, what do you mean?
Make your phone your best friend, because remember, most of us, we're probably not going to be using our webcams to talk to our audience. In some situations we will, but most people use their phone. If you don't know where your lens is, if you don't know how to emote to your camera, if you don't know how to make eye contact with your audience, you're missing the opportunity to connect with them. So if your phone is so powerful, it's the portal to your audience, you need to make best friends with your phone. You need to know how to talk to your phone so that the emotions are translated to your audience. You need to know how to really connect. Know where that lens is, know where you need to make eye contact, know what you should be talking to and how you should be emoting. And that is so important, because if you're talking up here to your audience, first of all, your audience is then looking down at you. You never want your audience to look down at you. If you're looking down here, you're looking down at them. That's also not a good thing.
Ooh.
So make sure you make eye contact. All of those things are important when you're, because it's the non-spoken cues that people are going to be picking up on as well.
Well, I love that you said that because, well, two things came to mind. One, I'm a very avid YouTube user. I used to be a content creator, and I probably will return to it. Well, we're on YouTube, so we're content creators of YouTube. We're YouTubers. But, I'm a very big fan of a lot of people who create videos on YouTube. And one thing that irks me is when they're not looking at us, when they're looking at their viewfinder, because then they're looking at themselves, and that turns me off. So do you know what I mean? So I love that you said familiarize yourself with your camera. Your camera is your best friend. Make your phone your best friend. I love that.
And what's really good is when you're good at it, you can then use it to your advantage. If you want to have a moment where you've got a character that's looking down on somebody, you know how to do it. And that's a quick little, or a quick, I feel inferior.
Ooh. Wow. Okay. Well, make sure you guys are checking out the YouTube channel if you want to see like, Jonathan Howard's facial expressions. Oh my gosh, because I'm looking at you.
I'm like, oh yeah, we are recording this on YouTube, but
the other thing too, though, Jonathan, when we were talking about make your phone your best friend, make the platform that you're choosing. So a lot of us, we're talking all, camera opportunities, right? But a lot of us will be showing up on stories, Instagram stories, or, Facebook Lives or whatever. Familiarize yourself with the platform you're using. Because that's going to make you feel more confident. I say that all the time about Clubhouse and hosting a Clubhouse room. Know where your buttons are. Know what your buttons do. That's just going to set you up for success, right?
Absolutely. And just being comfortable. There's times, and we'll all get better each time. But, if we're fumbling with the things, it throws us off. And then we're like, oh, man, I didn't do that right.
And it's like, unless you're really good, like you're a pro at that stuff, like sometimes that will tackle people down. And they're just like, well, forget it. I already blew it. Like, I'm turning this off, ending live. You know what I'm saying?
I've ended lives because I was so flustered. I've done it. So I'm there with you. I get it. And obviously, I'm much better at it now, but I've ended lives because I was so flustered. It happens.
Ooh, I love that word. That's such a good word, flustered. We definitely don't want you guys to feel that way. So learn about the platform you're choosing to be on camera for. Okay, Jonathan, we can't ignore this. We have to talk about.
Okay.
Roll the tension. Roll the fire emoji. Okay, so initially, when I put my notes into for this episode, I said, for me, when I want to show up feeling my best on camera, I get ready. Like if I want to feel confident, I put myself into confident Mimi mode, right? When I'm doing camera. So, and what that means for me is I like to put my makeup on. I like to make sure my hair looks good. I like to wear a lipstick color that I know flatters my, skin tone or whatever.
Just leave it in. Keep going.
Oh, that has to. We're not editing that out. That was hilarious. if you guys,
they have to watch the YouTube channel. We'll just leave it at that.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Collect yourself, Mimi. But anyways, like when I want to feel confident, I get my hair ready, makeup on. I wear a piece of clothing that makes me feel good in my own body, and that when I show up, then I'm like rocking it. Like, yeah, I got this. It's almost like going, and I just want to throw this point out there, Jonathan, before I pass it to you, because I know you have some opposing opinions on what I'm saying. It's almost like going into a really important interview, right? You put on your power suit, because once you put on your power suit, you're transforming into this like, not an alter ego, because you're still being yourself, but you're showing up like feeling bad ASS because you're in your power suit. So anyways, that's how I feel when I know I have to be camera ready. And it's not all the time. I'm not trying to justify this. It's not all the time, because clearly on Instagram stories, like I'll show up like half a mess, who cares? But like if I'm doing something like professional for my business, heck yes, I like to show up 1,000 like 110% like confident Mimi with my hair and makeup done. Okay, back to you, Jonathan.
I get it, but to me, what you said there is I need to put on my costume and my mask and show up as somebody that I'm not. And I know what you mean, because
do you guys hear? Wait, hold on. Do you guys hear my?
I heard that. Hang on, but here's what I let you speak without interrupting you, young lady.
Okay, fine.
I heard you say, and even the words that you chose was you were putting on a costume and a mask. And I don't want people to feel like they have to do that, because no matter who you are, there are your people out there, and you should show up on video as you're comfortable showing up on video. So I'm not saying that you should show up if you're not comfortable and this is who you are, this is what you want to do. Like, this is me for a podcast. I'm a little bit more dressed up than I would be on my everyday. But I still am not changing who I am. Now, what Mimi said was a little bit different, because Mimi said she feels different in that suit. She's showing up differently in that suit. And what's going to happen when you get that job? Are you going to show up in that suit every day? Or are you going to show up as your real person every day? And that happens to business owners, because they show up as this person on their Instagram. And then when people come to get to know them or work with them, they're like, ooh, they're not like that at all. They're an ass. And that doesn't help you. So showing up as yourself, the way that you really are, the way that you're really connecting, is important. And that's where I'm a little bit different. And I know I'm going to get it, because I'm a guy. I don't have to put on makeup. I don't have to do this or that. And you know what? There's a lot of guys that put on makeup and nail polish and all sorts of shit right now. And they do it when they want to show up, or they don't. So it depends on who they feel like. I had to shave this morning.
Listen, Jonathan, everything you're saying makes sense. I understand what you're saying 1,000%. And I don't think, and I'm speaking for myself, but when I'm putting on makeup, I don't think I'm any different. I think I'm Mimi. You know, I'm just saying that when I see myself on camera, I'm like, ooh, you look good, right? So, and that's what's boosting my confidence. I'm still showing up 1,000% as myself.
Right.
Like, you're still going to see my personality. I'm not changing how I, talk and stuff. Like, but I'm just saying it gives me a little bit of a boost, right? It's almost like putting on, when it's time, bedroom time, and you put on a, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a boost. It's just a confidence boost. I don't think it's necessarily like, but listen, it may be for some, it is transforming them into business Jonathan. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I think of Beyonce, who we love, Queen Bee here on the podcast, but when I think of Beyonce, she admits it. She's like, when I'm on stage, I'm not Beyonce, I'm Sasha Fierce. Right. And so why is that a bad thing?
It's not necessarily a bad thing, other than she's on stage as Sasha Fierce, and she's still very open about who she is outside of being Sasha Fierce.
That's fine. I mean, I get that, but Beyonce is still going to show. Now, she has shown up completely bare face, not wearing makeup. She has done that. And so, throw that in there. But I think at least just to get you started, like, to get confident on camera, I think these little things can help.
And my live video coach told everybody in the class to always have their red lipstick ready, because a good shade of red lipstick always makes you feel better. And when you have that red lipstick ready and you go on camera, you feel better about yourself. And I get that. I'm just I want people not to be authentic on social media. I want them to be real on social media, because there's this authenticity is overused. It means nothing now. And I just want to see what people are really going through, instead of this fake. I saw somebody say, you need to make sure that you are curated authentic. What the fuck does that mean? Sorry, excuse my language, but like, come on, just be real, who you are, and show up and feel comfortable in that skin, because you deserve to feel comfortable in that skin. You're awesome in that skin. Yeah. And I want you to accomplish all the things you can in that skin, because that's who you are.
I mean, I think that's a beautiful way to wrap this episode up, honestly, Jonathan. Like, that's all we all want at the end of the day, is to feel 100% comfortable in our own skin. And for some of us, it's a longer road than others. But I think with these little tips and tricks that we've shared today, I feel like that can help for sure at least help you show up
Right.
to get that process going. Because that's what it starts with, is showing up day one.
Yep. You got to have a day one. We all have a day one. And it doesn't look like our day 50.
Jonathan, I'm actually really proud of ourselves, like, for not smacking each other, through this episode. I think we kept it very profesh.
We did. I didn't reach through. I didn't throw a pen at you.
Well, don't do it now, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you call me ma'am earlier?
I did call you ma'am earlier.
Oh, gosh.
No, I think I said young lady.
Oh, my gosh. You said young lady. Okay, let's go ahead and wrap it up, Jonathan. Real quick, you guys, we are on Instagram's Coffee Social Podcast. We'll put all of our socials in the description of the podcast and on the YouTube channel. But Jonathan, do you want to go ahead and say your favorite line?
Well, I want to first say like and follow on the right platforms. Follow and subscribe on the other platforms. Whatever you need to do, make sure that you are following this, because we have a lot of other amazing episodes coming up. She's getting her buys in early. Yeah. We have a lot of...
No, I was getting by five. These are my 5 stars.
Well, she wants her 5 stars. So make sure that you rate the podcast. If you enjoyed any of this, rate the podcast a 5 stars wherever you listen to your podcasts. 5. Because Mimi loves stars and she wants to start racking them up.
Yes.
So she gets 5 every time you rate her 5.
Jonathan, though, you're right. Make sure, as far as our episodes, we have so much goodness in season 1. Make sure you're checking the podcast page and the YouTube channel to see what else we have out there for you. Remember, we talk about social media and business, and we keep it real, you guys. We're not bajillionaires. We're doing this stuff every single day from the ground up. Right. So
her office decorations fell.
I love it. Talk about being real.
Come on.
Okay, we're going to end it with our favorite question. Not our favorite question. It's the most important question. What am I saying?
It is the most important.
Well, actually, it is my favorite question.
It's the most important one, especially since I'm always winning.
Yeah. I'm going to have a breathing session after this episode. You guys.
We need a breathing session after. We're all going to need to just take a deep breath. Be okay.
Okay, you guys, the most important question that we want you to think about throughout this whole season, all the seasons, is, are you Team Mimi or
are you Team Jonathan? Because that's the obvious choice.
No. Team Mimi, guys. Woo! T-shirts coming soon.
Oh, you're promising garb now. Oh, boy. Am I going to have to pay for the Team Mimi
T-shirts? Need merch.
I'm not paying for the Team Mimi T-shirts.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening. Bye, Jonathan Howard.
Bye, Mimi Langley.